138 BC. A man is captured and held prisoner for 10 years. He escapes, not to go home, but to finish his mission. One emperor, one spy, one road that would change the world forever. This is how the Silk Road began. 138 BC. In the 2nd century before our era, an empire in the east was fighting for its survival. The Han dynasty ruled vast lands, but beyond its borders, a nomadic power grew stronger every year. The Xiongnu, fierce horse-riding warriors of the northern steppes, raided Han territory again and again. Villages burned, trade routes closed. The Han emperor grew desperate to find a way to strike back. Emperor Wu, young and ambitious, refused to accept defeat at the hands of the northern raiders. Rumors spoke of a displaced people called the Yuezhi, driven west by the same Xiongnu enemy. If the Han could find the Yuezhi and forge an alliance, the Xiongnu could be crushed forever. But no one in the empire knew what lay beyond the mountains to the distant west. One man volunteered for a mission that most believed was impossible to survive, let alone complete. His name was Zhang Qian, a palace attendant with no army, no map, and no guarantee of return. The emperor gave him a mission, a small escort, and almost no chance of success. In 138 BCE, Zhang Qian left the safety of the capital and rode into the unknown. Ahead lay deserts no Han official had ever crossed, and mountains that swallowed entire caravans whole. Every step westward carried them deeper into territory controlled by the very enemy they sought to defeat. Then, without warning, Xiongnu horsemen surrounded the caravan, and the mission collapsed before it truly began. Zhang Qian was captured and dragged before the Xiongnu chieftain, his imperial mission now a death sentence. Yet instead of killing him, the Xiongnu chose a stranger punishment, to hold him prisoner indefinitely. He was given a wife, a home among the Xiongnu, and a life designed to make him forget. 1 year became 2. 2 years became 5. Still, the emperor's mission remained buried in his heart. For 10 long years, Zhang Qian lived as a prisoner, never once abandoning the purpose he carried. He watched. He learned the language, the land, and the movements of the people who held him. After 10 years of patience, an opportunity finally appeared, and Zhang Qian chose to seize it. In the darkness, he ran, not toward home, but deeper into the unknown lands of the West. He had not escaped to return to safety. He escaped to finish what the emperor had asked. The road ahead crossed mountains, so high that ice clung to the stone even in summer. Hunger, thirst, and exhaustion tested him daily, but turning back was no longer a choice he had. Eventually, he reached the kingdom of the Yuan, a land no Han traveler had ever set foot in. The local ruler had heard of Han wealth and welcomed the stranger who arrived from so far east. For the first time, Zhang Qian witnessed cities, markets, and cultures the Han Empire never knew existed. He saw horses larger and swifter than any in China, animals that could change the fate of armies. With guidance from local traders, he pressed onward, still searching for the displaced Yuezhi people. At last, after 11 years of searching, Zhang Qian found the very people he had been sent to find. He proposed the alliance the Han Emperor had dreamed of for over a decade of waiting. But the Yuezhi had settled into fertile new lands and no longer wished to fight the Xiongnu. Peace, prosperity, and distance had cooled their desire for revenge against their old and feared enemy. The military alliance he sought had failed. Yet what he found instead would change history forever. He discovered thriving trade networks stretching toward Persia, India, and lands even farther to the west. Every kingdom he visited, every market he walked through, became knowledge worth more than any army. Zhang Qian realized the world was far larger, richer, and more connected than anyone in China knew. With his knowledge secured, Zhang Qian began the long and dangerous journey back toward the Han Empire. The road home proved just as brutal as the road that had carried him into the unknown. Cruelly, fate struck twice. The Xiongnu captured him a second time, delaying his return even further. This time, captivity lasted little more than a year before chaos within the Xiongnu offered an opening. When the Xiongnu leader died, internal power struggles created the perfect chance for Zhang Qian to flee. He rode east with everything he had, carrying 13 years of knowledge toward a home he barely remembered. In 126 BCE, 13 years after he departed, Zhang Qian finally returned to the Han capital. Of the 100 men who left with him, only one companion survived to walk back through those gates. Emperor Wu, who had long assumed him dead, welcomed him back with disbelief and overwhelming pride. He described kingdoms, horses, goods, and roads that stretched farther west than the empire ever imagined. The emperor realized that opportunity, not just alliance, was waiting far beyond the empire's western frontier. Zhang Qian was celebrated as a hero, honored with rank, wealth, and a place in imperial history. Yet behind the celebration lay 13 years stolen, a family left behind, and a mission that had failed. The alliance he was sent to build was never formed. The Yuezhi never rode against the Xiongnu. Nearly every man who rode beside him into the unknown never lived to see home again. Emperor Wu would still go to war with the Xiongnu, but not through the alliance once imagined. Military campaigns, not diplomacy, would ultimately push Han influence deeper into the lands Zhang Qian had explored. His personal mission had failed by every measure the emperor originally intended it to achieve. He would be sent west once more, this time strengthening trade rather than seeking war and alliance. In his final years, Zhang Qian documented every route, every kingdom, every path he had once walked. He died without knowing that his failure in diplomacy had quietly become his greatest historical achievement. Years after his death, merchants began following the very routes Zhang Qian had once traveled alone. Caravans loaded with silk began moving west, carrying goods toward kingdoms Zhang Qian had first discovered. In distant lands, Han's silk became treasured beyond imagination, valued as highly as gold or gemstones. Slowly, a single explorer's path grew into a network connecting empires that had never before made contact. Persia, India, and eventually Rome would all become linked through routes born from one man's desperate mission. Religion, language, and ideas began traveling the same roads once walked by frightened, hopeful traders. Cities along the route grew wealthy, transformed by cultures blending together for the very first time. What began as a search for military allies became history's greatest network of trade and culture. Centuries later, scholars would give this network of roads a name that echoes through history still. They called it the Silk Road, though silk was never the true treasure it carried westward. Knowledge, faith, invention, and ambition moved in both directions, reshaping civilizations on opposite sides of the world. Zhang Qian never completed the mission he was sent to accomplish, yet he changed the world forever. His failure as a diplomat became humanity's success as a connected, trading, and evolving civilization. This was not the ending of the story. This was only where the Silk Road truly began. Next time, on the entire history of the Silk Road, an empire rises and the road expands.